A lot of times when I was first getting into the Stay Active method, I was really detached from like what my body's signals were telling me, or later what I would call my appetites, my body's appetites. Does it have an appetite for heavier weight? And I had programmed myself for years just out of habit for going in, oh, strength is best. If you need to stretch, probably means you're injured. And so I would be afraid to do the limber test and really listen to what it had to tell me, because I was thinking, well, that's not how I'm gonna get what I want. And that denial of ourself, when I deny myself, that's always gonna lead down to a path of destruction, whereas the other path is awareness. So really helps me. So if you're in that same position right now, where you're like, oh, well, I'm having to do adaptability work every day, or I'm having to do steady work every day, or I'm having to do I'm ending up doing a lot of daily original work. Don't try to predict where you're going to be. Just open yourself up to the opportunity to listen closely to what your body is trying to tell you and respond to that, and see how your body responds when you give it what it's asking for.
Hello and welcome to Season 2 of Unlock Potential. I'm Brian Delaney. Our focus this season is fitness. I'll be joined by Dr. Corey Duvall, who's going to guide us through his protocol for getting into your best shape so we can live our best lives and serve others well.
The difference in between machines and free weights is huge, just because you realize you get another 30% exercise just by moving the dumbbells, barbells, all the heavy weights around. That's at least another 30% of my workout on a regular basis, it feels like. So just picking up heavy shit. We're gonna do a workout today and just walk you through some of my mindsets as I was getting started. Maybe you can relate to those, and just how those progressed over time. How I went from feeling one sort of way, like feeling bad, and maybe you're feeling a lot of those same things right now, and that's why you're watching this. But just going from feeling bad to reading those signals and finally learning and adopting a methodology that helped me do something about it. It may not happen right away, but it does happen. It does happen. Give yourself enough time and you'll find your mobility increases, your strength increases, your ability to lift heavy weights at odd angles and in odd positions, your ability to work outside the gym, your energy, all of those pieces, they do increase, but it does take time. It's not really the point of how long it does it take, it's the fact that does it happen, and can it happen for you? And that's something that I now believe, and I hope as you do the work, you start to build the evidence. You start to build your case that not only does it work for you, but it is working for you. I found tough. Not at the edge of my capacity. I could probably go up, and as you might be able to hear, it's also my time. So 15 minutes, that was good work. Got my body warmed up. One of the principles that's really important is we manage what we measure. If you want to measure growth in weight gain, one of the things that has really helped me is having an app that helps us to do that. We're building all of that in to the Stay Active Method app currently, so that you can see your progress, both progress in upping the weight you lift, and if it's one of your goals, reducing the weight you carry on a day-to-day basis, reducing the weight that's resistance for you, and freeing that up to be released energy that turns into muscle and allows you to be more helpful and useful to all the people around you, which is the goal of this work. It's not to be in the gym, to be in the gym, to be in the gym. It's to be in the gym so we can be sufficient, helpful, useful and energized, like energized and engaged outside of the gym. About halfway, about 3 rounds into my, I did 5 rounds in that, plus 10 reps on the second workout. I did that, and about 3 rounds in, I started to hold back. And the reason that I did that is I could feel where I was going. I was going to be pushing the edge of my capacity, when just holding back a little bit does a good job of listening and allowing me to work out for longer and more consistently by not causing unnecessary damage that's not appropriate for the work, because those were rounds, right? That wasn't just 3 or 4 reps like in our strength work. Those were rounds, so I have to do that different. So the way I used to think about that when I came to the gym, lift as heavy a weight as possible all the time, and as a result of what I know now and what you know now, that's going to cause ignorance, irritation, injury, suffering. It's going to cause all those things. But when we listen and we respond to our body, not only before the workout, but during the workout, what we get is we get longevity, we get energy, we get engagement, we get to actually make that voice of our appetite, or the signals that we get, we make those louder by listening closer and learning what to listen to. This is strength work, so this isn't tough. This isn't meant to be at the edge of my comfort zone. It's meant to be past that. It's not meant to be inside of my capacity and tough. It's meant to be past that. This is strong work. So, for me to really push, like give everything I can to push out the edges of my capacity, but not go beyond it. Not go to failure. We're not meaning to go to failure. We're just growing our capacity, which means we push from the inside wall out, not from the outside wall back in. Otherwise, we end up shrinking it. Earlier when I was doing the stay active method, and you might be in the same position, I was trying to say, okay, I'm gonna go from 134 down to 120. I was trying to predict that, when the only important thing is that we go faster, not try to predict how much faster. Because when we're comparing ourselves on both sides against a timeline, we're gonna alter our effort too much rather than being aware of how we're feeling and responding to that, knowing what we did last time, knowing how it felt to go a little faster, rather than just have that objective time measurement. You want that objective time measurement, but you also want to build the sensitivity to be able to listen and the awareness of what to listen for in your own body. And you're unique, you're gonna have your own experiences. You may have former injuries that are trying to tell you a story of limitation that you need to push through. And maybe it's time to push through that, but push through it by listening to it, not by ignoring it, because that's just gonna compound the injury through your ignorance. It's gonna compound the suffering. It's gonna compound your time out of the gym. And that was the exact place where I was. I was living on the other end of compounded ignorance. And that's how I can tell that I lack the awareness. is because I'll try to do something, won't be able to do it, try to do something, won't be able to do it, try to do something, won't be able to do it. And it seems like there's something that's pulling me away, and that typically is ignorance, or I value two things at the same time and I haven't decided which one I value more. And so this is constant training for our minds, for our hearts, for our ability to relate to others and do things well. So if you're struggling and you're in that place of like, damn it, like I just can't stop being injured, or I can't get consistent in the gym, there's probably two things that you value and you haven't decided on it yet, or there's just a blind spot, some ignorance there that's pulling you away. And so either way, the situation is not to ignore and lean away, it's to fess up, face up, and lean in. And that's what I'm doing here with these sprints, because they're making me fess up to the truth that I am going to be in better shape than I am now. I've heard it in business, I've heard it in a lot of places, that the work that you're doing is 95% mental and the other 5% is all in your head. I find that to be true for workout too. 95% mental, the other 5% is all in your head. You know, it's like being able to walk back up to the bar without having something to prove, just having a bar to lift or just having weight to lift. That's a big deal for me. It's doing the movement when my body feels ready, not when my mind judges it. So being able to notice without judgment, that's a big deal. And just being open and curious rather than confident and so focused that you become ignorant of what's going on around you. It's kind of like a sniper looking in their scope but missing all the peripheral. And that's why a lot of them, they'll talk about keeping both eyes open so that they can see what's going on around them as well as downrange. And that's exactly where we want to be able to look, is have our focus downrange, but have our peripheral vision, our awareness is both near term and heading toward that long term, just so we don't leave real estate for blind spots. And that's a question that I ask myself all the time, is like with my workouts, with the general work, is how I used to think about working out, which was much more where I was going to predict and do no matter what I felt, rather than listen and respond. It was much more of pretty much always strength work with a little cardio warm up and maybe a stretch after, because I thought stretching was flexibility. And it was the same thing. And so it was wearing down the same paths in my body over and over again, instead of finding new ways to do things, new ways to integrate new systems, new muscle systems into your body, get new muscles firing. It was all about having balanced growth, which means that, I didn't want my left arm to be bigger than my right arm, or my left side to be stronger than my right side. And so I would unnecessarily limit my other side. And so now I know that each side of my body is going to grow at different speeds, and just allow my body to do what it's going to do in that, and focus on the quickest and the easiest way. So I have the highest functioning body that's going to move toward balance, but not have zero as an equilibrium point. It's always going to be climbing progressively like that, and just allow my body to go through those natural systems by challenging it in the ways that are appropriate for what my system tells me I need to do. I hope you've enjoyed this workout. I hope you'll join us. A couple of things that you can do is, number one, you can go on to Unlock Potential 360 and you can see the links to our ebooks and to the stayactivemethod.com. stayactivemethod.com, you can go right there as well and download the ebook that we have that's talking about the pyramid of fitness, so that you start to understand this. Make sure to reach out to us, especially to Corey on Instagram. If you're looking to get involved in the work, he's offering limited spaces for a limited time, free consultations, no cost consultations, so that you can understand where you're starting from, instead of being prejudiced to yourself and prejudging yourself and saying, well, I'm too injured, I'm too this, I come from here, they wouldn't be able to help me, I wouldn't be able to help myself, I'm too far gone. all the bullshit that we can tell ourselves. Don't tell yourself that. Instead, just buy yourself a moment of curiosity. Bring the real estate into your life for a level of awareness that only a coach can bring. Reach out to Corey and have him walk you through what it looks like for you to start the Stay Active method now, for you to start your journey now, because there's going to be intermittent lapses, there's going to be all these things. So why not start practicing getting to a place of awareness, of consistency, of usefulness? Why not join the movement and stay active? Thanks everybody for joining this episode. I hope this workout was inspiring to you. Go be inspiring to others. Take care.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Unlock Potential. Follow us across all socials at Unlock Potential 360 and visit our website at unlockpotential360.com to shop our gear and see what's coming up next.
The information and views expressed by our host or guests on the Unlock Potential podcast are their own, and not a substitute for professional medical or fitness advice. Always consult with qualified healthcare or fitness professionals before starting any new exercise program or making changes to your current routine.